Wabbit season. Duck season. Wabbit season. Duck season. Wabbit season. Duck season. Wabbit season. Wabbit season. Duck season. Wabbit season. I say it's duck season, and I say fire. Let's try that again.
What's good? It's your boy 2K here. Shout out to the movement and everybody who's moving with us. Man, for this one, we're going to have a whole lot of fun tonight. I got a question for y'all out there. Who out there at one point in time watched Looney Tunes, and some of you old motherfuckers still do watch Looney Tunes? Y'all remember Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck's argument, right? Wabbit season, duck season, wabbit season, duck season. Well, guess what Keith Thurman thinks it is? Keith Thurman will tell you it's duck season. You know what I'm saying? So, as we all know, Keith Thurman will not be fighting Jesse Vargas May 19th. Now, 3kingsboxing.com, if you haven't already visited, I suggest you go visit the website. We tried to tell you cats back in December that Jesse Vargas and Keith Thurman was on for April 14th of this year, right? Then shortly before the big PBC announcement, the date is moved to May 19th and Jesse Vargas is completely off. Now Keith Thurman is fighting the big bad TBA motherfucker, right? So, and the reason why he's not fighting Jesse Vargas is because, quote, it may be too much of an opponent for him, too tough of an opponent for him, right? They don't feel, him and his team don't feel that his elbow has healed to the liking in which they feel they can get in the ring with a guy like Jesse Vargas. Now, I'm not too big on Jesse Vargas. I've said that before. A lot of people already know. Cats that have listened to me talk about Jesse Vargas know this shit, right? I think a healthy Keith Thurman beats Jesse Vargas in the same manner that Tim Bradley did without getting caught in the 12th round. You know what I'm saying? I think even with a fucked up elbow, Keith Thurman still beats Jesse Vargas. It'd be a tough fight, but he still beat him. Nevertheless, I still thought it was a good opponent to come back to, right? Now he's already taking him off the motherfucking the card. He's not fighting him, and we still don't know who he's gonna fight, right? But what we do know is that he came out and said that he will not fight Errol Spence until he gets at least 2 fights in. And he's steadfast on the idea that the fight will not happen until 2019, right? Now, amidst him saying that, he goes back to talking about, yeah, and the public might even want to see a Danny Garcia rematch. You know what I'm saying? Still pulling Shawn Porter out of his ass, right? Shawn Porter, of course, is ranked #1 by the WBC, but he's not ranked in any of the other 3 major sanctioning bodies. Now, of course, Keith Thurman holds the WBC title, so, you know, he would be warranted in fighting him in a rematch to give him, you know, basically he's fighting as mandatory. But we already seen those 2 fights. You know what I'm saying? Keith Thurman, Shawn Porter was a good fight, but we already seen them. You see what I'm saying? Danny Garcia, man, I don't hear anybody talking about seeing those fights. What Keith Thurman doesn't understand is the public wants him to fight Errol Spence, right? We don't mind him getting in 2 tune-ups if he needs them, right? But there's no reason why you couldn't have fought Errol Spence at the end of this year. Plain and simple, dog. There's no fucking excuses. He had already moved Errol Spence to earlier mid-2019. Hell, he wasn't even fucking specific on that. He just said 2019. Then he said he's just not on my radar. You know what I mean? He just moved him. Like, hey, y'all basically told the fans, hey, don't look for no super fight from me this year, motherfucker. Come on, man. You know? Meanwhile, Errol Spence is over here making my man look real bad. You know what I'm saying? It's all about perception. See, and I tell you cats all the time, these fighters need to really follow the format that I say they should follow when it comes to the media. In the media, you should always say, I'll fight anybody, right? But then if you go backstage, that's when you be like, nah, I ain't fighting that motherfucker. Nope. Hell no. Nah. That motherfucker too tough, right? But if you do that shit in the media, if you tell the media, yeah, I'll fight him right now. Fuck it. The fans will always take your response at face value, regardless of what you do after that. You could say, I'll fight Errol Spence right now. But then in the back, you know, before negotiations even start, you could be the one holding the fight up, but the fans are still going to back you because of what you said in the fucking media, right? But when you're in the media looking scared, talking scared, and acting scared, well, then the fans are going to think you're fucking scared. Therefore, you will lose the fan base you once had, or at least you'll see it dwindle. You see what I'm saying? And that's what's happening with Keith Thurman. He went from one of the most celebrated 147-pound fighters to being one of the most talked about fighters in the sport right now in a negative manner because of this Errol Spence situation. And it's his fault, dog. Before we get to the fun, and shout out to my man Corey, he sent me an excerpt from Stephen Breadman Edwards, and I believe the excerpt was off of his show, The Daily Bread. He touched on two key points, very valid key points, regarding this whole Keith Thurman, Errol Spence situation. The first one, he basically said that he doesn't think Keith Thurman is ducking Errol Spence, but he believes he's avoiding him. And he also felt that more attention should be put on cats like Danny Garcia and Shawn Porter, simply because neither of those guys are stepping up to the plate to fight Errol Spence either. The reason why I disagree with half of that statement is a fighter ducking and avoiding are virtually the same fucking thing, simply because the reason why a fighter may avoid another fighter and the reason why a fighter may, quote, duck another fighter are virtually the same. You know what I'm saying? It basically, fighter A sees something that is perceived to be a threat in fighter B, so therefore he avoids him, right? Whether it be a threat to his financial situation, a threat to his record, a threat to his health, whatever. But he avoids that fighter because of the perceived threat, right? Now, literally avoiding is just a nicer way to say ducking. You know what I'm saying? It's a more respectful way of saying you duck that motherfucker, right? But the other half of that statement, I do agree that we should get on Danny Garcia and Shawn Porter's ass for also blatantly ducking Errol Spence, especially Shawn Porter. He's just like, man, I ain't even trying to fight that motherfucker at all. And Danny Garcia just mum. For you dumb motherfuckers out there, mum means silent. You know what I mean? But he's just mum on the whole Errol Spence challenge altogether. You know what I'm saying? But those guys are not the guys Errol Spence called out. See, that's the problem. See, when your number's called and you're a champion, you got to take the challenge. You know what I'm saying? This is the same criticism I had about Danny Jacobs and Gennady Golovkin before, whenever he was talking about getting paid 10 trillion, bazillion, gazillion dollars in order to get in the ring with Gennady Golovkin. This is what I said. I said, yo, when your number's called, man, and you a champion, you got to take the challenge. Or you're going to suffer the scrutiny. You're going to suffer the consequences for not taking that challenge, right? Errol Spence didn't offer no challenge to Shawn Porter and Danny Garcia. The guy that he has on his mind is Keith Thurman. And the reason for that is because Keith Thurman is seen as the top guy in the division. Errol Spence is doing the right fucking thing. He wants the top guys. He don't want the guys the top guy already beat. He wants the top motherfucker, right? The second point he made was that he's not really on Keith Thurman's ass, no homo, simply because of the inactivity. But see, my counter argument to that is the inactivity is Keith Thurman's fault. And he talked about not just, you know, the injury to his elbow and him being inactive because of that. He's talking about in the past. He specifically said when Keith Thurman wins a big fight, he pretty much, you know, goes into inactivity after those big fights. You know what I'm saying? A period of inactivity, right? Just to counter that, if he does go into some sort of period of inactivity, that's still his fault. You see what I'm saying? You're in control of your career. You can fight whenever and whoever you feel like you want to fight. Now, I know a lot of people try to think the promoters and shit run that, and I try to tell you cats, man, if you really try to market yourself in the right manner, the public eye is going to demand that they see more of you. You see what I'm saying? Therefore, your promoters, your team, your manager, they going to get you out there because the money's there. You see what I'm saying? So if Keith Thurman really wanted to be more active, he would seek to be more active. A good example, Daniel Jacobs, right? He left Al Heyman because he's seeking to be more active. You see what I'm saying? So that's what the fuck he should be doing. His inactivity is his own problem. And we should not allow him to use that as an excuse or some sort of cop-out for us to give him a pass for not taking the challenge. I told y'all before, and I'll tell y'all again, y'all should already know by now, once you become a champion, you're expected to fight the best. If you have a setback, you get a tune-up, but then you need to go right back to fighting the best as long as you keep a strap or multiple straps around your waist. That shit is nothing new in the sport of boxing. Now for the fun part, I'm going to need your eyes and your ears. If you're listening right now, go ahead and bring your phone, you know what I'm saying, your laptop up. Look at your monitor if you're on your desktop. Shit, if you got me hooked into your HDMI on your big screen. Because what I'm getting ready to do, I'm about to show y'all a slideshow of all the different memes and shit that have come out between Errol Spence and Keith Thurman. I also got some still shots from real footage. And you can see the look on Errol Spence's face. This motherfucker wants some Keith Thurman ass, no homo. You know what I'm saying? But you already know, I got to give Keith Thurman some bunks. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to let my man Shep tell you best.
I bought some bunks. I bought some crazy hard, scar your motherfucking ass bunks. What, is there a problem, Kyle?
you! Who's next?